1-888-9-TCM-SHOP.
Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Tonight, our TCM Spotlight is on movies based on the work of Southern writers. And with me to talk about our next movie is best-selling author John Grisham. So glad to have you here.
Delighted to be here.
Great. Well, up next is a remarkable film from 1967 based on a nonfiction work by Truman Capote about a terrible crime that occurred in Kansas in 1959. The book and the movie are called In Cold Blood. This is a terrific movie, I think.
It's a great book. It's a tragic story, but to have such a wonderful film made from such a tragic story is remarkable. It's still remarkable.
It's, I think, one of the great examples, too, of black and white cinematography. And how if this had been in color, it would have not been good. Not as good.
There's so many great scenes.
Yeah. And great actors are in it.
Robert Blake.
Yeah. And it's also interesting because it is a story that I think a lot of people knew the story before they read Truman Capote's book. But it's such an interesting take on it when you get his emotions mixed up in all of this and what went on. So, yeah, I'm very fond of this movie. And did you think it was well directed by Richard Brooks?
It's one of the greatest adaptations you can find from a book. And I've written one nonfiction story. It's called The Innocent Man. It was published about 10 years ago. True crime, true wrongful conviction, all that kind of stuff. And before I wrote the first word, I went back and read In Cold Blood.
Really?
And watched the movie. And it kind of got me.
So it had an influence.
It made me realize how much work I had to do because I had no idea what I was getting into writing nonfiction. But the book is a work of genius, and so is the movie.
Have you ever thought or been interested in writing a screenplay?
I've tried it a couple times. It's a different set of muscles, and it's not always easy for novelists to adapt their own stuff. And I've tried it. One original screenplay that was filmed, the movie wasn't very good, and I probably won't do it again. It's just not a whole lot of. I do one thing pretty well, and that's write legal thrillers, and that's what I need to be doing.
When you do have a story in your mind, does it play out like a movie as you're typing it out?
You know, it's one reason that my books, I think, have been so sort of irresistible to filmmakers is because it's a very simple writing style. I start at A and B and C and D, and when I get to Z, the story's over. It's one scene after another. There's not a lot of complicated flashing back or backfilling or things like that. They usually have one narrator, one hero who's involved in one big plot with others spinning away. But again, it's a straightforward way of telling stories. That's what movies are. I mean, I visualize the scene before I write it. And I never thought about, that's what filmmakers do. But that's what I do when I write a scene. I got a guy's face, I got a lady's face, I see them, and I write that scene. But it plays out visually before I write it.
Well, let's see this movie that had an influence on your life.
It's a great movie.
Indeed. Right now we bring you the movie directed by Richard Brooks, with a cast headed by Robert Blake, Scott Wilson, and John Forsythe. From 1967, here's In Cold Blood.